What up, my dudes? The T-Sipper Predictor is back. Okay. Crashes absolutely everywhere on the Anaheim 1 main events. Hell, not even talking about just the main events, even the heat races, the LCQ, that dude bounced up over the berm. So we're just going to do a little quick race recap video here, okay? It was basically like an East Coast Anaheim 1. You know, that's pretty much what it was. It was really interesting. It was like darker dirt vibe than they normally have, way ruddier than they normally have. Even the ruts on the first lap of the main event were, you know, pretty next level compared to your typical Anaheim 1 tracks, which was not the case on the MX Simulator RF track, and absolutely no ruts, no pre-made, no nothing, which that's not how the Anaheim 1 was in real life, okay? But nonetheless, it got crazy rough, crazy rutted. It was basically a motocross track on a supercross track. And this just caused all kinds of havoc. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I would 10 to 1 rather have that kind of track and that kind of racing than when they get on those tracks that are way too easy and there's not, you know, there's just like nothing that's really separating the guys and they're all like in a single file line like they're racing NASCAR or something like that, and that nobody ever makes a single mistake and then they all finish like perfect single file. Some people try to call that kind of racing like good racing or close racing. That's bullshit. That's not good racing. Good racing is what this 2023 Anaheim 1 was, where at any given moment, even the dude all the way back in 5th place could still win the main event. That's good racing. You know, at any moment, anybody in the top 5 could just completely wad their shit and totally change the outcome of the race. It kept you on your toes. It kept it exciting. And that's exactly what we saw. So let's get to the riders and what they did during the race and all that kind of stuff. And if it sounds like I'm talking through a barrel, it's because everybody and their grandma is sick right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just that time of the year. I apologize for that. Well, you know, Smithy boy, trying to talk through the barrel out here, bro. What's up, dude? Oh, my God. Okay. Everybody basically in the 450 main event, they pretty much did exactly what I thought they would. And I'm not just saying that to try to sound like, ooh, I know everything that I'm talking about. I mean, literally, all of the dudes pretty much showed you what they're known for. You know what I mean? That's about what happened in that main event. Like, they all take off. Justin Barcia pulls the whole shot at Anaheim 1. That's not a shocker. You know what I'm saying? But Barcia still thinks he's the Barcia that he was like 2 or 3 years ago, where he could actually win Anaheim 1, and he's not. He's blowout Barcia. I thought he was going to crash like in the 2nd or 3rd corner. He scrubbed the bike over that triple, way over jumped it. I was like, oh God, here we go. I knew something bad was going to happen to Barcia. And of course, like, I don't even know if it was like 2 or 3 laps later he crashed off the track. Well, it's funny because instead of putting Justin Barcia as an option on that pole, I put Malcolm Stewart as an option on that pole, as kind of like going out on a limb, you know. I had Tomac, Sexton, Roczen, Anderson, and Malcolm Stewart as the 5 options to vote for on who you thought was going to win the main event. And it actually turned out to be, other than I left out Cooper Webb on there, he was actually better than I thought. He was the one that did kind of different than I thought he was going to in that 450 main event. But honestly, that's just kind of Cooper Webb. Like, he can come from the back like that. He was hitting all those inside lines, squaring up the bike. He's really good in the ruts. So honestly, it wasn't like a big surprise actually that Webb was able to do that. But who was in the lead right after that? I think Tomac, right? I think he was right in there. Tomac was firing out of the gate. He looks swell on this new Yamaha YZ4 Fatty bike, okay? You know, a lot of people thought it was going to take Tomac like a few rounds to kind of learn the bike. Holy shit. we were wrong about that one. Tomac definitely knows what he's doing on that bike. It seems like he's cornering better on it than he was the bike from last year. He's just kind of gelling on it. He just looks even better. I know that sounds crazy that Tomac could look better than he looked last year, but I swear he looks better. But anyways, Tomac got out front. The track was already ruddy on lap 1. You know, it was already kind of had some character and roughness and ruts on the first lap, but then it just got even more and more and more. Definitely right about that like midway point through the main event, it started to turn into a legit motocross track. But even on the first lap, I mean, there were some corners that had like 5 or 6 ruts coming out of the corner on the first lap of the main event. Do you see why that's so shitty that RF is making their tracks that have absolutely zero pre-made on them on MXM? You know, they made that Anaheim one perfectly glass smooth. That's just not how it was in real life. There were so many ruts in those corners, even on the very first lap. The very first lap, bro. But anyways, so Tomac gets out front. Everybody thinks, okay, Tomac's just going to run away with this. So Roczen's kind of up there at the start, right? You know, can Roczen believe the hype, boys? Oh, man. Roczen did exactly what I thought he would. He would come out firing out of the start, and then he just slowly faded back to 5th place. That is exactly what I said Roczen was going to do, to an absolute T. There's a lot of you guys thought Roczen was going to come out and like actually compete with Tomac or compete with Sexton in this main event. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Honestly, like Roczen probably had the least impressive performance in that main event, because when you think about it, Roczen was really the only one that got a good start, like a really good start, but also didn't make any big mistakes, but also somehow still got 5th place. You know what I mean? Everybody else that was up there at the start or like caught up to the front, they made some kind of big mistake that, you know, costed them some time or whatever. But like Roczen, he should have won that main event for him getting that good of a start and then not making any big mistakes, but he didn't. He just faded and faded and faded a little bit more and then got 5th place. In fact, I said that's about where, you know, Roczen's going to be that 3rd to 7th place kind of guy, and I think he's going to be that all through the series. It is really hard for me to believe, like, Roczen's just going to be able to straight up beat Tomac, Sexton, even Webb on a bunch of the tracks. I mean, Webb's looking like that kind of Webb that passed Roczen in the last lap of all those main events in those years previous. So I don't know, man. But anyways, Roczen is he's not super hyped up like a lot of you boys thought he was. He's just Roczen at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean? Even on the Suzuki, he's still just Roczen at the end of the day. And that's my opinion on that. I mean, I feel like, and this is the time where I thought Roczen would be winning main events, is like the first 4 or 5 rounds of the series, because he certainly ain't going to be doing that good at the last half of the series. He never does. Okay, so if Roczen is going to win any main events or really do that good this year, it's going to be like these first 4 or 5 rounds. You see what I'm saying? So, anyways, but it's not like Roczen did terrible. You know what I mean? And I didn't think he was going to do terrible on that Suzuki, but I also didn't think he was going to do amazing on that Suzuki either. And he basically did that exact thing. So anyways, Roczen's like right there in 3rd. He has the perfect chance to get in the lead and win the main event, but he just doesn't really do that for some reason. But then you got Malcolm Stewart up there. Now, this was the interesting, like I say, I put Malcolm Stewart on that poll to select, people that would win the main event, just kind of as like a, you know what, maybe Malcolm Stewart could do it. I don't know. I just had that thought in my mind because he's kind of come close a few times like that. But, man, he looked really good. He looked like, did he get in the lead for a minute? I think he did. Like, Like, I'm pretty sure when Tomac went down over the wall jump. Luckily, he didn't get hit or anything like that, but I think that put Malcolm Stewart in the lead there. And then it was like, it kind of sucks for Malcolm because I think he got in the lead a little bit too quick. Like, it kind of made it to where, oh, now you got to stay out front of a, 450 Anaheim 1 for another 12 minutes. Like, it was just going to be tough for Malcolm Stewart no matter how he went about it, But anyways, he still looked good. I still thought, oh, this may be Malcolm Stewart's chance. But he kind of did the typical, starts to get a little bit shaky out front, because he's never won a 450 main event, especially Anaheim 1, a lot of pressure. I thought there's no way in hell Tomac's going to come back and win this race. Never bet against Tomac, okay? But when you think about it, everybody did the thing that they're known for. You know what I mean? Barcia got out front, pulled the whole shot, crazy, start, but then he blows out, right? Tomac is up there, and then he crashes, but then he comes back and still wins the main event. That is literally what Tomac is known for. Roczen gets kind of a pretty good start, but then just fades back for no reason. That is what Roczen is known for. Malcolm Stewart kind of gets up there, but then can't really handle the pressure. Kind of looks like he can win the main event, but then can't really handle the pressure. That's what Malcolm Stewart is starting to become known for, Chase Sexton, he's the one that passed Malcolm Stewart. They kind of barely banged bars. It messed up Malcolm Stewart's, brake lever or some shit? I don't even know what side it was on, but what was it? Was it brake lever? I don't know. I don't even know. I can't think of it in my head right now exactly the way they were turning, but anyways, one of the levers, Malcolm Stewart was like trying to hit it up off the track, So anyways, then Chase Sexton gets out front. I'm like, okay. Dude, there's like 420 different lead changes in this race. That's how you know it's a good main event. So anyways, Chase Sexton gets out front. He kind of did his typical, looks really good for a minute, looks like he can win the main event, and then he starts having these weird little mistakes. Luckily, he didn't have like a big crash, but he still had these weird little mistakes. And it sort of allowed Tomac to catch back up and pass him, win the main event. And Webb does what he's known for, comes from the back, hitting all those inside lines, hitting the ruts good. He comes from the back, sneaks up there and passes Sexton to get second place in the main event. So Anderson tried to pass Roczen, but he kind of went in a little hole and fell down. Anderson did have a chance to get up there and potentially win the main event, but he had a little mistake in there. So it basically went like Tomac, Webb, and Sexton. That was the top three. And yeah, I don't know, man. Interesting main event, but everybody kind of showed their true colors. Everybody kind of showed what they have been known for. So, there wasn't much of a shocker there, other than like maybe you could say, like Webb being able to come from that far back. I don't know. That was pretty impressive in itself. And then Tomac being able to do that good at Anaheim 1 when he's never won in Anaheim 1, coming from crashing and still winning the main event. If that track wouldn't have been that ruddy and that difficult, I don't think Tomac could have done that. It was like specifically that kind of track design and how much it got, how much the track broke down. I think it really separated the men from the boys, which was awesome to see that, but it's going to be a fun series to watch. But yeah, at the end of the day, everybody basically in a nutshell didn't really shock me any. Like Tomac did his Tomac thing, Roczen did his Roczen thing, Barcia did his Barcia thing. Everybody just kind of did their thing that they're known for. That's all I can really say about it.